Hello, dear friend. You are watching the Astrology Horoscope for April, in which we are going to look at all the important events, astrology events, and of course, their influence and how you can plan and how you can prepare, and overall, what to expect. The month is pretty dynamic. We start with actually lots of fire energy, and until the 19th, the energy is pretty dynamic. Also, there is an important shift. Mars is moving into a new sign towards the end of the month. Pluto will turn retrograde. We have also lots of Uranus aspects. Mercury, Venus, and the Sun will join Uranus separately. So there might be lots of surprises and unexpected situations, but also possible breakthroughs. So let's get started with the very beginning. So at the very beginning of the month, the Sun and Venus are in Aries, and on the 3rd of April, so at the beginning of the month, Mercury is joining as well. So 3 planets in Aries. The Sun is actually extremely powerful. It's exalted in Aries. And it brings a very dynamic, expansive energy. It's time to take some action. It's time to move forward, to take some initiatives, perhaps to take certain risks. But we always need to be careful with the strong Aries energy because it can make us more impatient, or somehow we may confront more with other people. So we need to make sure that we are channeling and directing this energy into something constructive, something that includes taking action and certain level of independence. And that's especially true after the 11th, because that's the time when we also have a new moon in Aries. And that's an extremely expansive energy. So imagine 3 planets, including the Sun, in Aries and a new moon in Aries. So the first phase of this lunar cycle that will come after the 11th will be even more beneficial for new projects, for taking action, for feeling more vital, feeling more energetic, and doing something. So yeah, I think that we kind of need this shift. We had recently lots of Pisces energy, and I'm a huge fan of Pisces. Perhaps you know that. But sometimes it can slow us down too much, or it can kind of make us a little bit detached from the more material world. So this can be a nice reminder of the importance of taking action. So the month is starting in a very dynamic way, and especially around the 11th and actually after that, and I would say around the 19th. So this kind of middle of the month is the most active. We have still 3 planets in Aries. We are also in the first phase of the lunar cycle. So those around the middle of the middle month part is really the most dynamic and actually the best one for new projects and initiatives. Okay, let's look at the aspects one by one. So on the 2nd, right before Mercury actually moves to Aries, while it is still in Pisces, it will have a positive aspect with Pluto. And this is a very nice aspect that can help us to be more concentrated and focused and dedicated. Usually it brings some clarity and can help us to transform something, or to negotiate better, or to make certain plans related to financial investments. So overall, the 2nd is very beneficial for moving towards something you are passionate about and planning. After that, on the 3rd, we said Mercury moves to Aries. So the communication is becoming more open, more dynamic, more straightforward, but also there is a chance for confrontations or some impatient or impulsive reactions. So yeah, make sure to be as kind as you can. After that, on the 6th, we have a beautiful aspect between Venus and Mars. This one is wonderful because it really helps us to do something that we love, to take action on the things that we are passionate about, on the things that we really want, on our desires. Also, this is a great aspect for investments, for some financial activities, and not the last thing, of course, but one of the most important things, actually, relationships. A great time for dates, for doing something with your partner or meeting a new partner. So dates are wonderful around the 6th. Then on the 9th of April, we have actually the most challenging, complicated aspect. It's a square between Mars and Neptune. This aspect may bring some confusion, lack of clarity, complication, lack of motivation, especially when it comes to taking action, being initiative, taking risks. You may feel a little lost, a little confused, or just a little bit slower. So the right strategy at this point is to take your time and to try to tune into your creativity and the things that inspire you. If you're trying to make yourself do something, chances are it will be very difficult. But if you are coming from a place of inspiration or the desire to do something meaningful or to help someone or just to be more creative, that's a whole different story. So it may help you to actually take action in those particular areas. So yeah, it's a tricky combination, that's true. But from a creative perspective or a spiritual perspective, it can actually be quite interesting. Then on the 10th, we have a wonderful combination for negotiations. Venus will have a sextile with Jupiter. This aspect can bring us success and prosperity and positive emotions and even some kind of material, nice results and gifts and all of that. Negotiations can be very successful. So, a pretty nice aspect between the two benefactors. And on the same day, again, on the 10th, Mercury has a positive aspect with Saturn. And this one is great for business negotiations, for business planning, for organizing things, for being more logical when it comes to planning or prioritizing or some kind of intellectual work. And overall, the day is fantastic for business negotiations. So, one of the really, really productive combinations. After that, on the 11th, we have the new moon this month, which will be in Aries. So lots of dynamic, concentrated, masculine, constructive energy. Think about what would you like to start? Is there a new project that you would be inspired about? Take some risks, be brave, of course, in a wise way, as always, but allow this energy to kind of like pull you and take some action. And as I said, after that, for the middle of the month is really the most active part of the month. So if you have something really important, something you want to start, something where you want to put your whole energy into, this part, the middle part of the month, is fantastic. We need to mention that right with the new moon on 11th, we have a challenging aspect between Venus and Pluto. And this one can make us a little over dramatic. It can make us more emotional. It can deepen also our feelings and the connection we have with others. But chances for some drama and some issues are definitely there. So be careful, especially when it comes to your personal life, and also probably when it comes to some financial decisions. Then moving on to the 13th, we have another actually very energetic combination. The sun is having a positive aspect with Mars. And it's a nice combination also because Mars is the ruler of the sun at this point. So a great flow of energy that can be focused on something new, something that you are excited about. The good thing is that also with so much fire, Mars energy, things usually happen faster. So prepare for fast decisions, for quick changes, and things really moving forward for you. But definitely a great aspect for business and new things and taking risks and actions. Then on the 14th, Venus is moving to Taurus. So things are becoming a little bit more patient and kind of relaxed when it comes to relationships. Venus is especially strong in Taurus, which is quite beneficial for finding more comfort, for taking better care of our physical body, connecting better to nature, to the physical world. When it comes to relationships, also, usually this position brings more calmness, more relaxation, more balance. Financially, this is also a position that may support more stability and generally more comfort in this area. So Venus coming home to Taurus, one of the signs that it rules, is actually pretty good news. Another good news on the next day, on the 15th, is a great aspect between the Sun and Jupiter. So again, a combination between two fire planets. 2 days earlier, we have the Sun with Mars, great fiery combination. And on the 15th, the Sun with Jupiter. So also wonderful aspect for expansion, for growth, success, prosperity, learning new things, planning, setting some goals. It's just amazing. Jupiter is really, of course, we know that it's the planet we always love to see doing some positive aspects. So it's nice and it can help you to be more motivated, more ambitious, and more focused on your long-term goals. A day later, on the 16th, the Sun is having a challenging aspect with Pluto. So this one can bring some kind of confrontations, power struggles, or extreme motivation, extreme desire to do something, to transform something. So it's a complicated aspect, that's true, but it can help us to be even more empowered and more motivated to do something. It may come from a place of frustration or a place of, anger sometimes, but this might be also a great driving force. So generally think about the things that you want to transform in your life or about yourself, and be careful with authority figures at work or with some government institutions or just people who have more power. And then we get to the 17th of April with such an intense combination. Mars is having a positive aspect with Jupiter. This aspect is actually great for motivation, taking action, being inspired, succeeding in the things that you do. But at the same time, Mercury is kind of in the middle and forming positive aspects with the two planets. So we have something called a bisextile, which includes Mercury in the middle and Jupiter and Mars. And this is absolutely amazing for planning, for learning new things, for taking some action, for opening your mind for something new and something different. So it's really, really amazing. And honestly, it's quite rare to have such a tight, close bisextile and all the aspects happening at the same time on literally the same day. So the 17th is really perhaps one of the most active dynamic days. But Mercury is having even one more aspect with Pluto, which will be challenging. So we may come from a place of extreme motivation and dedication, and we may want to dive really deep, explore something, go really, really to get to the roots of something. And it's possible that there might be some kind of secret things we need to dig deeper into, or perhaps something more mysterious or difficult to kind of like understand. But the aspect can also bring lots of focus. In communication, we need to be careful because of this aspect. But overall, the energy of this day, the 17th, is really, really, really intense. Okay, moving forward, the 18th. On the 18th, we have a conjunction between the Sun and Mercury. And this is a combination which can also make the mind really active, really focused on something, really kind of like working and working, maybe having some ideas. And it's still in Aries. The sign is still Aries. So dynamic new ideas, some exciting communication or connections with other people, planning. So yeah, lots of focus to communication and mental work. And on the 19th, we have a pretty important transition. So the Sun and Mercury are both moving to Taurus at the same time. And this will be more kind of like grounding energy. So it's time to slow things down and to think about some practical results that we want to focus on, to give more priority to stability, resources, balance, taking care of the physical body, connecting more with the physical world, and really kind of like putting your feet on the ground, making sure that you are present and yeah, more logical, I would say. So yeah, that's kind of a big transition during the month. And after that, on the 22nd, we are starting with the Uranus conjunctions. So it's still not a boring time, honestly. It won't be like extremely peaceful, because with Uranus, things are never boring or too peaceful. But this is actually a time of surprises, some exciting emotions, some new opportunities when it comes to love, relationships, money, investments. So it might be something which you are not expecting. It might be also something that's quite liberating. It might be something that brings lack of stability in those particular areas. So one thing is for sure, you won't be bored. So that's kind of guaranteed. And on the 23rd, Mars is moving to Cancer. Also, energy that really changes the atmosphere. Mars in Cancer is much more patient, more relaxed, but also more demotivated and lazy at times. So we need to take it a little slower, be a little calmer, and focus perhaps more on some personal things. When Mars is in Cancer, our emotions and our mood really define our actions. So it's hard to get yourself to do something just because you have to, or because that's kind of a responsibility you need to take care of. That might be not the best strategy. Instead, try to think about what do you want to do? Where are kind of like your desires, and also how you can help other people, what you can do in terms of family and your home, and all of those topics can be quite triggered. Then on the 24th, Mercury is having a conjunction with Uranus. So lots of exciting ideas may come, some breakthroughs, things that may open up your mind. It could be quite fast, and honestly, the nervous system might be overwhelmed. This is an aspect that can bring just lots of electrifying energy. And sometimes the way it may work is also we might be impulsive, impatient, we may confront as well with others, but it really depends on how we use the energy. It can be very enlightening and open, mind opening, and quite exciting. So if you need some new ideas, more creativity, more inspiration, that's just an amazing time. And on the 25th, Mercury and Venus are also part of a connection with Saturn. So Mercury and Venus are joining together in conjunction. And at the same time, they have a square with Saturn. Again, pretty intense combination. From one side, Mercury and Venus bring lots of focus to communicating your feelings and sharing how you feel and having some important negotiations and the need to discuss all of those matters, including finances, including more practical things, but also, as I said, relationship matters and all of those things. But Saturn can block things. So Saturn squaring Mercury and Venus may bring some kind of limitations, can slow things down, can bring some kind of barriers or like boundaries, and it might feel frustrating. So don't push things too much. Just sometimes we really need to respect the limitations. It's not always about hustling and fighting, because sometimes you're fighting with a wall and it's just not that productive. Instead, take it slow, um, just try to be more relaxed, and keep in mind that there might be some kind of negative moods and negative thoughts, and all of that is just temporary and will go away. So around the 25th, there might be some kind of blockages, limitations, or negative thoughts and moods. Then on the 26th, we have a powerful new moon, which triggers Scorpio and Taurus. It's time to find the balance in the area of resources when it comes to exchange of energy and all of those serious matters related to Scorpio and Taurus. And that's the culmination of the lunar cycle. So this is a very active period also to see the results from your efforts or to make some important adjustments and changes. A day later, on the 27th, Pluto is turning retrograde. So it's actually quite important that on the full moon, Pluto is stationary. And the energy is quite intense, quite strong, not necessarily balanced. So be prepared for some kind of drama or extreme emotions or just lots of intensity. But Pluto, as we know, can also really motivate us. So yeah, nothing is just black or white as usual. And the 29th comes with a nice aspect between Mercury and Neptune, aspect which can really help us to open our mind for our intuition, to be guided, to be more creative, to be more intuitive, and also for spiritual practices, for creative work, or just for harmonizing the communication. This aspect is totally amazing. And the very last thing that happens during April, on the very last day of April, is a conjunction between the Sun and Uranus. Surprises and excitement and new opportunities, also some possibilities for instability or unexpected changes, but this is really the time to take action in a new way, to be more creative, to be more innovative in your work. So don't be afraid to do something which is, and it's a huge cliche, but out of your comfort zone. That's what Uranus will support, and actually it will make things much easier. But this is also an aspect that can bring breakthroughs. So as you can see, we have 3 Uranus conjunctions: Venus, then Mercury, then the Sun. So it's really a time to think about changes and different perspectives and innovations. And that's our astrology forecast for April. Don't forget to sign up for our weekly personal notes, you can check the link below. There's also lots of other helpful information for the free class that you can sign up for personal consultations and readings. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us at support@marstars.net. I would love to hear your thoughts about April and how you feel with this energy and what are you focusing on the most. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you next time.